Welcome back, YouTube world. Game Tourney Forever coming back at you with another video. I know, right? Back to back to back. And today on our gorgeous black friend here, the Dreamcast. Love this model, I must say. Just beautiful. Love it. Anyway, you guys are probably wondering how the heck I'm putting out so many videos lately. My son, he is actually in the Philippines with his mom and his brother right now for like a whole month. So like when I get off work, I actually have time to do this. I'm not taking care of anybody or doing anything really. And so I have some time to actually film the videos and all that. And I'm going to quickly turn this down because this is louder than I thought it was going to be. Anyway, you're probably wondering what that is. Some of you may actually know. So for the Dreamcast today, my first game for this system was Pure Solar. Crazy, right? The watermelon folks. I know all the Paprium drama is going on right now, and hey, I can't blame anybody for being upset with them. I never pre-ordered that one. It looks cool, but I haven't dealt with it in any way, shape, or form. So, but yes, the first game I ever got for the Dreamcast was Pure Solar, which kind of tells you I didn't have a Dreamcast in the 90s. I definitely got it later. So, yeah, so I'll go ahead and go through like I normally do, where I talk about some of my history, my thoughts on the system, talk about a few of my favorite games, and just kind of go through everything. I keep having to turn this down. This is one of the few systems I have where it's plugged directly into my stereo. Like every system I have in here is plugged into the TV, but it has access to the stereo as well. This is the one system that's like directly into the stereo, so I don't have a way to have volume other than that one way. But anyways, guys, so let's get into it. So the Dreamcast, Boyd, in the 90s when the Dreamcast came out, 99.99, right? I would have been 14, about to be 15, just a couple months later. And it was kind of a weird time for Sega. I mentioned in my last video with the N64 video, when I got the N64 and the PlayStation, when my brother got the 64 and I got the PlayStation, Sega was really left behind during this period. I didn't see much Saturn stuff. I didn't hear about it. It really, at least where I was, it just was not in the mainstream. No one I knew had one. So coming into Dreamcast, when I heard Sega was putting this thing out, I didn't really know what to think about it. For me, I thought, how could anything get better than the Nintendo 64 and PlayStation? I thought at the time this is where graphics, this was as good as it was going to get, right? And I think I mentioned in the N64 video and the Genesis video, the Genesis was one of the top 3 times I was ever blown away seeing Sonic, next to Mario. The 64 was number 1, seeing Mario 64 for the first time. Well, this is the other system that was in that top 3. I remember this friend I had in elementary school. His name was Rudy, and he actually got a Dreamcast and was telling me about it. And I remember, he's like, yeah, you should come over and play it. And so I went to his house, and I mentioned I had NBA Jam on the N64. Well, he had one of the NBA games. I think it was one of the 2K games. And I'll never forget the first time I saw it, and I saw how realistic the players looked. Like, we probably look back now and it doesn't look that good, but at that time, going from the N64 and the PlayStation to like Dreamcast, again, 5-on-5. Like, I remember it was when the Shaq and Kobe Lakers were like, I remember playing against my friend, and I think he had Shaq, Kobe, Robert Ory. I think Glenn Rice was still on the team, had a stacked lineup and playing, and he was just killing me. I think I was playing the Jazz or something at the time. I don't even remember, but I just remember that basketball game was the other time I was just completely blown away. graphics wise, by what this little system was putting out. It was unbelievable. I remember staying over there playing with them as long as I could till I had to go home. But then after that, that was really it. I remember people talking about it. I remember seeing the games. I myself was interested, curious, but again, it just went back to that. We didn't have, we weren't well off. And, when we got a new system, you were expected that was going to be your system you were going to have for a while. So we kind of waited out. My brother got a PlayStation 2, and that was kind of where that went there. So, but none of my buddies other than Rudy had a Dreamcast, and so during its heyday, I didn't get a lot of time with it. And as you guys know, it really wasn't out on the market very long. I mean, I think they had discontinued it by 2001 here. So that was only 2 years. Now, it did a lot in those 2 years, but I myself didn't get to experience it. I was full on 64, PlayStation 1, and then into the PlayStation 2. So this system I didn't really get into till years later. I would see it at game stores, see YouTube videos on it. But I got more into the Genesis and the Saturn and the Sega CD more than this system. In fact, I didn't pick up this system till my very first Classic Game Fest, the festival we do here in Austin, and that would have been back in, I want to say I picked it up, I want to say it was 2017 or 2018. I want to say it was 2017, but a gentleman, he sold the Sega Sports Dreamcast with the controller and 2 rumble packs, which I have here on the back. You can see them. Sold it to me for $100, which I don't know. I don't know how much of a deal that is. I feel like that's a pretty good deal now, especially this one. And then from there, I just went and started collecting games for it, and have just picked up things over the years here and there. Again, not a system I heavily collect for, but if I see something I'm interested in, I'll pick something up for it. So anyway, I guess let's just get right into this thing. So like I said, I have the Sega Sports Edition. I have one of these controllers, and then the system came with one of these. Now I have managed to track down 2 more of these. So for my 4-player setup, I have 3 Sega Sports Editions and then 1 see-through black to try to keep with the theme a little bit. This controller, it's not my favorite controller in the world, if we're being honest. In fact, I prefer the Saturn 3D controller more than this one. It's just got very sharp edges. I do like the analog triggers a lot. But I don't know. This controller is very usable in a lot of the games, but there's very specific fighting games. This is not a controller you want to use for a fighting game. You can, by all means, but it's just not preferred, I think. And some other games, but most games, this controller will get the job done. But I would say it's definitely polarizing. It's interesting too because you can hook it in the back here, which I always thought was pretty neat. Well, this one it may not because the rumble pack's right in the way, but there you go. That's kind of how you're supposed to play it, like this. I think this is the only controller I've seen with a cord out the bottom, but anyway. So yeah, have all the controllers, have that. As you guys can see, I'm on a monitor there. I managed to find a OEM Sega first party VGA box from Game Over, the place that I've been buying games from forever. Wasn't cheap at the time. It cost me like $150. But yeah, got an audio cable, got a VGA cable, and I gotta tell you, just gorgeous visuals on a VGA monitor. I do have an S-Video coming off the side, coming into this big tube for games that don't support that. And there are some out there. One of them I'll talk about a little later. But yeah, let's kind of move into the accessories here. So I showed you guys the rumble packs. We also have the VMU, which was considered the main sort of memory card for the system. And I have 2 of these. Technically, I have 3. I'll get into that other one. But this black one I have here is actually a Japanese one. And it's pretty cool. It actually works with the system still. Some games it'll show in Japanese, but like Pure Solar here, it shows it right there, which is pretty neat. So this was so neat, so innovative at the time. I mean, you're talking like portable Wii U before the Wii U. You know, you got a little screen, and it really made certain games on this system better than any other version because of this. You know, your sports games, you could see the plays on here, and your opponent wouldn't see them. All kinds of different usages. And then, of course, you could actually play certain games on this thing. Now, one bad thing is the batteries in these die. Almost every time I start mine, you'll hear it do that loud beep noise. But if you want to keep these batteries alive, you got to change them regularly. I don't, because I don't play this like a little system. I just use it for the main function, the memory card, right? But they're really cool. The only bummer is they don't hold a huge amount of saves, but they get the job done. I don't know. I'd like to get at least one more of these at some point, because like I said, they're neat to have in the controllers when you're playing. Now the other memory card I have is actually the big gray one. This actually is 4 memory cards in one. You lose the VMU screen, but you get a ton of extra storage. I don't remember where I found this. It was another game shop, but I remember this was kind of expensive. These are a lot harder to find. And I was like, I have to have at least one of those. So I picked that up. I'm pretty well off on save slots for my Dreamcast. And speaking of saving, this thing does not have internal saving like the Sega CD or the Saturn does. The memory cards are required. And one thing that drives me nuts about this system is if you don't turn it on for a while, you got to reset the date and all that. So it's, you know, it's important if you don't want to keep doing that to turn your system on once in a while. I actually have had the battery changed in this thing. And there are some mods I would love to get on this system. I would love to get it region modded so I can play Japanese imports. Yeah, that's kind of the main mod I want for this thing. In fact, thinking about it, that's the only mod I care about. I just want to play games from all regions. So hopefully someday I can get that done. Anyway, let's keep going down the accessory line here. So my next accessory I'm going to talk about is actually the light gun for the system. This is what we got in America from Mad Catz. This was the official first-party light gun from Mad Catz, licensed from them. They did have a first-party Dreamcast one, but we never got it here. They left it in Japan. I don't remember the reason for that, but you know, Mad Catz isn't normally good, but this is actually a good gun. This thing works well. It's accurate. It operates well, and I have to use this on my tube. It will not work on this guy. But yeah, I like this gun. It's almost like a price check gun. But yeah, it gets the job done. Unfortunately, I don't have any games to play it with right now. I've only tested it at friends' houses. But I do want to get the House of the Dead 2. It is definitely on the list to utilize with this thing. If you guys have any other games that you recommend for, you know, to use with the gun, let me know. But that's the big one I definitely want to get. All right, what else we got here? Another accessory. And another accessory I don't have a game yet to use. The fishing pole. I remember the fishing arcade games in the arcade that were out right before the Dreamcast came out. And I remember they had the fishing pole, and you felt tension, and they just looked amazing. And when I found out that this machine actually had some fishing games, I saw the pole accessory, I was like, I want to get that pole. I want to get some of these games. So at some point, I'm going to pick up some of these bass fishing games because I definitely want to play and utilize this thing. It just looks like a lot of fun to me. So hopefully soon I'll be able to pick some of those up. But yeah, cool accessory. This is such a fun system to collect accessories for, actually, because there's a ton of them out there. And let's just get into some of the next ones here. So, Dreamcast mouse. Got one of those complete in box. and a Dreamcast keyboard, complete in box as well. Now, you don't have to have these, but there were a couple games I picked up where I was like, I want that combo. Not only that, but on Etsy, I actually found someone who created a Dreamcast mouse pad. So I bought that just for this mouse and the setup. But games like Quake 3 Arena and Unreal Tournament, it's night and day playing these with the keyboard and mouse setup. It's so much better. And you know, the Dreamcast was another one of these systems where you could actually go online with it. I don't have a broadband adapter for mine. I want to get one, but I want to get a black one, and they're real expensive. So, but I do have the dollop. I do have the modem on it, but you know, they've brought Dreamcast Online back up. I can't recall which games are there. But hey, I have the mouse and the keyboard for playing these on my own, as well as if I ever want to try to get online with them. And it is so much more fun. You plug a mouse into one port, a keyboard into another, and a controller in another, actually. And you can have all three, and you have your VMU in that controller. It's a messy setup, but it's a cool and fun setup, and just something to, like, I don't know. I don't want to say impress your friends, but make them be like, "Oh my gosh, look at that!" I don't know. I'm just a crazy person like that, though, right? Big game I want to get for that keyboard is Typing of the Dead, and I need another keyboard to play 2-player. I actually do have a second gun as well, but some game that's probably the number one game I want to use with the keyboard. But there's a bunch of these cool first-person shooters on here and different games you can use the mouse and keyboard on. It's actually, they're well used on this system. So, but that's a few more accessories there for you. Let's see here. Let's get into some games. Let's talk about some games we got going on here. I'm gonna start with a fun little arcade game, Crazy Taxi. I mean, this is just a staple for the system. The music. You know, I don't think we'll ever get a remake or remaster of this because of the licensing on the music. This game is just ingrained in me for 90s with that, oh gosh, what is that band called? Oh, I'm forgetting what they're called. I mean, the song's on here. Yeah. You guys will know what I'm talking about. I can't believe I'm forgetting their name. They do the Pretty Fly for a White Guy song. And then my favorite song they have, Self-Esteem. But yeah, this is just fun for hours. Such a fun arcade game, and my favorite way to play it, honestly. So if you're looking for a fun arcade experience, track down Crazy Taxi. I know it's on some other systems, but hey, I just prefer the Dreamcast. All right, let's talk about a few other games here. So these next games are games I picked up for the system because I felt like they were the best version. Rayman 2, The Great Escape. Now, this is on a ton of other consoles, but my preference, I want to play it here. You get to look at it through VGA. You got the VMU. You get to use the Rumble Pack. I mean, and it just looks so good on this system. If you like Rayman and you're interested in trying out the 3D game and you have a Dreamcast, I definitely recommend it on here. Again, you can play it on other systems. It's on a ton of other systems out there. I just like it here. All right, the next one that stays in that same boat, and I know this is either released already or is about to release, but to me, this is where the best version of Soul Reaver was too. This is a really beautiful version of the game and really fun. And I really enjoy playing this on this system. And if you guys don't know what this game is, it's about, what is his name? I can't remember his name. I think it's Raziel. But he, the other guy, who I'm forgetting his name now, from Blood Omen, he pretty much cursed him. And you're going through the game and trying to inherit these souls. And it's a really cool, dark experience. I definitely recommend this. Find a way to play it, whether it's on your PlayStation 1, Dreamcast, or on one of the newer versions that's out now. This series in general is really good. At least this one and the first one, Blood Omen. The other ones, maybe the second one of this game is okay, but the other two are, I don't know, they're kind of hit or miss to me. But this one's really good, and I definitely recommend it on the Dreamcast. All right. Here's another one that, for me, again, just my opinion, my favorite version, Dino Crisis, here on the Dreamcast. Came out on the PlayStation 1, but again, I like it here. You get that VMU compatibility that shows, I believe it shows your life meter, so you don't have to like pause and see where you are. Like, you just look down and you can see kind of where it is. And it just looks beautiful. The graphics here look really, really nice. And it's comfortable with the Dreamcast controller. But yeah, if you're looking for a fun survival horror with dinosaurs, pick this up here. It's really fun. Really good game. All right. What else we got here? You know what? Let's talk about some Sonic on the Dreamcast. So he had a few outings. It was Sonic Shuffle, which I'm not getting. That it just doesn't look good. But we had Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2. And, these are the games that I think everybody was yearning for that we never got on the Saturn. But we got them here. And to me, these are some really, really good 3D Sonic games. They each have their issues, but the music, the graphics, the gameplay, it's all good. It's all fun. These came out later on GameCube. I'm trying to remember if they came out. I'm assuming they probably came out somewhere else later, but I just like them here. The GameCube models look different than these, and there are some differences. So pick your poison, get them where you want. But I like them here on the Dreamcast. I want to. If you have this system, you want to play stuff on it, right? These are great things to play. So that's where I like them, right here on the old Dreamcast. So, all right. Next, I'm gonna pull some stuff out that's a little more arcadey. And so, speaking of that, I'm gonna show one of my other accessories. We got the Dreamcast arcade controller, or what's known as the Green Goblin by a lot of people. This is a really great arcade stick. I love this stick. Everything feels good. It's got your VMU slot, and you can use this for all kinds of games. But what I've mostly used it for are fighters and shooters. And so I'll just show you guys a couple of the shooters I have out here. I have Ghost Blade. This came out much later. This is a more newer Dreamcast game. 1 or 2 players. I believe this even supports vertical screen resolution, like an option where I could turn the screen. I actually have another VGA monitor that if I want to do that, I'll actually pull that monitor out. It's my main PC monitor. But yeah, very colorful game, very fun game, difficult. You probably can still pick this up as it's one of those later releases, one of those Josh Prod releases. But yeah, this is a really cool shooter if you like shmups. Check it out sometime. Next we have, and I got this one not too long ago, Stormwind Limited Edition. This game is incredible looking on the Dreamcast. There are parts of this game that remind me of that 360 shooter. I can't even remember the name of it now. It's the one with the Halloween theme and the girls. I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of this game. It's funny, I get on camera and I just completely blank. But this is a game that's really good. You can get it from VGNY Soft. I picked up the limited edition. Comes with this little VMU steel kind of outer shell if you want to switch out one of your VMUs to that. But yeah, very cool game, very difficult, and it's compatible with so much stuff. VGA, VMU, Rumble, arcade stick, and it's region free, so you can play this on any Dreamcast. But yes, really cool shooter, highly recommend it. All right. You know what, we'll talk about some of my rare games now before we get into the last stuff here. So probably my two top rarest games, and I'm not sure what order this would go in. Um, Resident Evil 2. Crazy that this is so valuable, but survival horror just kind of carries that on a lot of systems. But this version is just gorgeous. Playing it all through VGA and you being able to see, I believe on this one you can actually see your ammo count. Like you can see how much ammo you're carrying, so you know when you need to pause and reload, where in the other versions you have to check that. This is the version of this game I play. Just the resolution, all the bonus extras. I love this version and I'm so happy to have it. Great version of the game. Highly recommend this. All right. And then the other, probably most valuable game I have is Bangai-O. Picked this up a number of years ago. Can't remember how much I paid for it. Somewhere between 100 and 200. But another fun, unique game. This actually came out on the N64 in Japan as well. That one's even harder to find because it was a more limited print run. You know, I'm okay with this one. I think this one looks better. You know, the control scheme isn't quite as good as the 64 one, but it's still good. It is by no means bad. The only thing I don't like about this game is it doesn't work with the VGA. You have to play it here using the S-Video. But whatever, I mean, I'm cool with S-Video. You know, most of my setup I use Component, but I still use S-Video if I can't use the VGA or I'm with my CDI, and it looks good enough for me. I'm totally pleased. But yeah, if you see this game for cheap, definitely recommend it. Really fun. Okay. Now, let's get into the last set of games I have, which are fighting games. And I got a lot of these. This is a great system for fighting games. First, we got Soul Calibur, the original, the OG. This is a classic. If you go look on the top games on Metacritic of all time, this is way up at the top, if you can believe it. I think it's the highest rated fighting game of all time, which just tells you the quality. And I believe when this came out on the Dreamcast, it was actually better than the arcade version at the time. I have played this. I have enjoyed it. I really need to play more of it. I'd love to go in and unlock characters and really play through this game more. But yes, if you're looking for a good fighter on the Dreamcast, pick this one up. All right, next on the list, and again, another more recent pickup. Sometime in the last year, I got Power Stone 2. I had always wanted to play these Power Stone games, and I don't have the first one. I hope to get that one someday, but hey, this one's the 4-player crazy action. This is like 3D Smash Brothers. It's such a kooky, zany, and quite honestly, chaotic experience. But if you're looking for some fun with some friends, definitely pick this one up. You can actually get it in, I think it's in a Capcom Fighting Collection Part 2 now for Switch or PS4. But yeah, there are other ways to play this. I want to play it on the Dreamcast, of course. All right, let's get to the next ones here. We got the original, the OG, Capcom vs. SNK. Such a fun game. Love the art style. Again, I know there's other ways to play this now with the different fighting collections, but just something beautiful and fun about playing this on the Dreamcast, especially with these arcade sticks. It's just, you know, the other day I had some friends over and I set my ottoman over here and had my 2 arcade sticks, and it was like an arcade. We were playing shooters and fighters, and this system just is so good for games like this. So yeah, play them where you want, but gosh, I would recommend them so much on the Dreamcast. They're so fun there. And we're just going to keep continuing talking about these fighters. The original Marvel vs. Capcom. And again, I know they have that Marvel vs. Capcom collection out, so you can play it there. And I have that collection. I still play it here. This is my preference. I just love playing these games on the Dreamcast with the arcade sticks, with the VMUs. Just the whole experience of playing these where they originally came out. And they still perform so well. Now, some people love this one the most because of the art style. You know, it's completely 2D. But some people prefer The second one, it kind of has the 3D backgrounds, but still with the 2D characters. You know, you'll never believe where I picked this up. I actually got this from a GameStop, of all places. I remember I walked in years ago, and I think I asked them if they had any retro games. And he was like, yeah, some guy just traded this in to get this, and I don't think they knew what they had. I got this for way cheaper than what it was going for at the time, and have enjoyed this so much with my sons. I mean, all these fighting games, they love these fighters the most. I don't know how many times I have to say it, but like this, Saturn, Neo Geo, they're all great fighting game systems, but this one's definitely way up there if you have the controllers for it. There's actually a pad controller out there that looks like a Saturn controller. I really want to get 2 of those to have pad options, but again, they're expensive and you just don't see them. They're hard to come by. Now, the last game is another one I was super happy to get. Garou, Mark of the Wolves. And only one of 2 Fatal Fury games I own. The other one is that special I had on the Neo Geo. But we played this the other night, and the boys just loved it. They were playing over and over, and man, just the beautiful 2D art on this game. It just blows me away still to this day. I mean, this art is just timeless. You know, it goes back to what I said on the Mario Party 2 on my N64 video. Just because a game is old doesn't mean it hasn't aged well and it isn't still good. This game is so good. I know they came out with a newer one, which is pretty solid, but I'll take this one still over it all day, any day of the week. But yes, play this wherever you can. Such an amazing game. I guess we'll talk about Pure Solar a little bit here, since it's just on and playing. I'll even play it a little bit, if I can. Well, oh, there we go. I'll probably just get into a town, because I do have one other thing I'm going to talk about. I normally get you guys out of here on gameplay, but today I'm not going to do that. Today I'm actually going to get you out of here on something else, but I will just jump into this thing real quick. It's just so crazy seeing, like, Watermelon with everything going on. It's just nuts. Oh, and I actually do have a save here. A couple saves. They're probably really early on. Let's see where we are here. I need to play more into this game. This game kind of gives me a Lunar vibe in a way. I really like the way it looks. And I really like the music. The gameplay is a little odd, their battle system. But it's I don't know. If you look online, this thing is very polarizing. I think the music and the art style get praised the most. But the gameplay, just people aren't a fan of. And I could see why. I mean, after playing it some, the battle mechanic is really odd. But yeah, this is some of the first game I got, and I never really got that far. It just, when you start getting as many game systems as I have, you get tugged every which way with different games to play. But yeah, this is Pure Solar. Now I want to talk about my other arcade controller that I have to go along with the Green Goblin. I got this a couple months ago and had been waiting for this for a long time. Probably a little over a year, but was super excited. I held off talking about it for any other console because to me, this is the console it was originally made for. If you guys don't know what this is the TR Fight Stick, the Octopus Fight Stick. And I was an original backer. You can see I still got some of the goodies that I've left in the box there. But I backed this way back when, and you know, got it for a good deal. For what it goes for now. I mean, now I believe it goes for like a Switch 2 price. But I tell you what, guys, I'd rather have this than a Switch 2. It's just me personally. The quality of this arcade stick is unlike anything I've seen before. And I know there's going to be people out there that say, oh, I could build this, that, or the other. Well, a novice like me, I can't. So what TR and the gentleman Hersit offered to me was perfect. It was everything I wanted that worked for multiple systems. And let me just show it off here. Let's pull this thing over here. Here we go. Here is the beast in all of its glory. It's got these nice big pads, and this thing has heft. You know, it says it's not a fight stick, it's a weapon. It really is. If you hit somebody with this, it's going to hurt them, right? Mine originally came with the original Octopus logo, but it came with this other overlay, so I switched it out. Has Sanwa buttons and a lever. And I love this controller. I have used it for every system that I own that it's usable on. And this VMU has 10 built-in VMUs. That's just incredible. I mean, the VMU was always an issue with the saves, but with 10 of them built in, you're never gonna run out. And it's great. It's got this tournament locking mechanism, so you won't accidentally pause. And then this switch, you can actually switch from, like if you had a D-pad, left analog or right analog on newer systems. And you got L3, R3 here, and 3 different cable options. And I'm going to show you guys what that is here. So first, you have the standard one. This is the one you're going to use on most of your newer systems. This is going to take care of your Switch 2, PS4, PS5, I think fighting games only on PS5, Xbox 360, what else? PlayStation 3, PC. This actually works on my Atari VCS as well. But yeah, really all your new stuff you're going to use this USB to USB-C cable for. I still need to test Wii and Wii U. I know it doesn't come like natively, but we've been finding things have been working in different spots as we test this thing. So I still need to do more testing there. I've only tested it with Splatoon and it didn't work, but I intend to give this thing a try with other Wii and Wii U games to see what we can do. But bag. Now what's in this bag? I ordered almost every cable extension they had. So this one right here, Super Nintendo. You can use the Octopus not only on just the Dreamcast, but the Super Nintendo. We also have, here it is, the Dreamcast. This is the main cable. And I've probably used it on my Dreamcast more than anything. On the Super Nintendo, my son beat Super Metroid with this cable. But yeah, Dreamcast. You've got the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 cable. You've got the Super Nintendo cable. This cable's actually different. This one is the... I'm sorry, so Super Nintendo here, Sega Saturn. I mixed up that connector on the end. Nintendo 64. Now this one was a little wonky, but there is a way to get around it, and I know they're working on a firmware update to make sure you don't have to kind of do some of the workarounds that we've discovered in our Discord. The freaking NES. Yes, this works on the NES. By the way, this works on all the analog systems. I've tested it on the analog NT, Mini Noir, the Super NT, the Mega SG with the Sega CD, and even my analog Duo. And then, of course, all the real hardware as well, which leads me to the GameCube. You want to talk about fighting games on the GameCube and a tough controller to use? Now with this stick, you have a controller you could use. Original Xbox. Same with this one. I have, I think it's King of the Fighters Neo Wave. Finally have a good stick to use with the original Xbox. Let's see here. TurboGrafx, or I'm sorry. They do have a TurboGrafx cable. I don't have that one. I have the one for the Turbo Duo and the Analog Duo because I have a Turbo Duo. Played Street Fighter on the PC Engine with this. Super fun, super responsive. This one is going to be for the Sega Genesis, Sega CD, and 32X. I used it on all 3. Great time. All right. What else do we got? Finally, the Neo Geo Advanced Entertainment System. Another reason, another great system to use this on. Now, there is some wonkiness with this one and the Genesis, but Herset is working on an adapter to plug in to the end here because it's a little loose to tighten it up. So it is being worked on, so no fear there. And what's great is it comes with this great quick guide sheet to get you going. There's a button combination you press for each system, and then he has an updated guide you can download online, which I've done. Also on the controller, you can go and update the firmware and then download the, there's like a VMU manager. There's a few different things, but I just want to say that this controller and everything that it came with, like, yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, you're seeing all these cables that I bought and everything. I was insane, but that's why I wanted it. I wanted one controller to rule them all, and this does. You know, now I have an arcade stick for almost every system I own. You know, the only systems I own that I either haven't tested it because I don't want to damage anything is the 3DO, the CDI, and then, like I said, I'm going to be working through my Wii and Wii U because I believe there's some compatibility there. But pretty much my 3DO and my CDI is it. And do I really need this for that? It'd be nice on Street Fighter or Samurai Showdown for 3DO, but, you know, I have pad controllers. I actually have arcade sticks there already, as you guys have seen. So, but yes, such an amazing, amazing accessory, and I wanted to include it with the Dreamcast in the Dreamcast video because this is the system that inspired it and birthed it. And so if you guys have any interest in the Dreamcast, any of those games I showed, or just having an amazing controller that you can use with this and a bunch of other systems, hey, go get you a Dreamcast. Go track down some games if you want to emulate. I know that's an option too. And then the TR Fight Stick, the Octopus, if you want an arcade stick to rule them all. I did see some footage of Justin Wong actually using one in a tournament recently, and so it's cool to see it starting to get used by the pros. I think even Maximilian Dude had one that he pulled out that he was playing with and talking about. So great piece of kit. Definitely recommend it. But anyways, guys, that's really all I have to say about the Dreamcast and my Dreamcast collection here. I have some other games back there. I couldn't bring out everything, but definitely a system I'm going to keep collecting for, especially for fighters, shooters, and other quirky games. But guys, great talking to you as always, and we'll catch you next time.